Welcome back, everyone. We are playing through Dragon Age Origins with Elia, Mage. We have our full team assembled. You can never actually have more than 4 people in a party, unless you include pets, but we haven't had any like pet abilities with any of our characters yet. Rangers, or archers rather, or rogues specifically, are the ones who typically have a pet option, although you can do it with a mage as well. And when you do have like a minion or a pet, their icon will show up right beside your character's icon on the side there. So we need to go into the Tower of Ishal there, and we're going to be lighting a beacon so that Logain and his forces know to come help the king. There's a bunch of darkspawn already here. They're not supposed to be here, but they are.
Alright, let's go!
That's fun. Again, I like that feature, looting during combat. Can save a little bit of time if you don't feel like running back to all the corpses after the fact. So, especially if the game seems to be having a little bit of a lag situation. Oh, there's a guy up there. I didn't even see that darkspawn. Interesting. A lot of good I did there. Oh well. Alright, so back up here. More fighting. I can't click on that guy. Those archers. Should be able to. So I think I mentioned it already. The different colors, but red is like bosses and elite bosses, yellow is just elite or like more difficult enemies, and the white are just your regular enemies. Since I don't have a rogue in my party, I won't be able to open any chests still. We should get our first rogue relatively soon, but not during this episode. It'll be a couple of episodes at least, still. Alright, I don't like this first room. A rogue is actually really good to play for this tower because there's a lot of traps on your way through, and if you're not careful without a rogue, it can do quite a considerable amount of damage. Let's see if I can find them right there. Alright. Oh, I thought they would just keep going. Apparently as soon as combat starts, they don't want to attack anymore. Where is he? There.
As you said.
There's so many!
Those mages, like if you leave them unchecked for too long, they can do quite a bit of damage during a fight like this, so it is a good idea, like even if you're not going to kill the mage first, to crowd control them. So if you have any kind of abilities that can stun the mage or lock them in place or knock them down, that kind of thing. I have a little visitor over here. Cat's in the room. I don't know if you can hear or not. Probably not. Maybe though. It's all the jingling. So those genlocks that are coming through the hall there, they were actually in this room before, but since there's two entrances to get into this room, they were standing by the other door, and as soon as I opened the first door, they chose to open the other door and come swing around for some flanking.
As you say. I will not falter. As you say.
So I actually got pretty close to dying there, so I'm gonna actually add health potions to my action bar, just in case I need them during combat. Second floor.
Maker's breath. What are these darkspawn doing ahead of the rest of the horde? There wasn't supposed to be any resistance here.
No point moaning about it. We have fighting to do.
Good point. I need to stay focused. Kill first, ask questions later. At any rate, we need to hurry. We need to get up to the top of the tower and light the signal fire in time. Tyron Logain will be waiting for the signal.
We should be waiting for the signal, at least, since that was the plan.
It will be done.
Those crystals that you can pick up that go in weapon and armor slots, save those, because they're for a specific character you can get later on in the game. Just in case I haven't already mentioned that. Nobody. Not worth going back for. So these ballistas, you can actually use them against the enemy. They don't do a whole lot of damage though, so.
As you say. Very well. As you say.
If I'm not mistaken, the next floor we go to should be the last floor of the tower. At least
Yes.
before the level of the tower that has the beacon on it. So it's four levels in total, I suppose. Lighting the beacon itself, though, is going to be
Low gain better be ready to charge as soon as we light the signal.
a bit
The
of an
king is
event.
depending on us.
As you say. Beware.
Oh, I
It will
set a
be done.
trap.
Cut them down!
Of course. As you say.
I did it! I killed one!
I'm not 100% sure on it, but I do think that Darkspawn have like a natural nature resistance on them. So the fact that my staff is doing nature damage isn't the best.
Beware.
That lever over there! It will release the hound!
Oh,
As you
there we
say.
go.
Just die already!
Yes. Surely you can do far better than that.
Let's grab some glory!
The computer controls for this game aren't the best,
Alright, that's it!
but they're not terrible. Like, they're definitely manageable. I think they actually improve it quite a bit with Dragon Age Inquisition, however. Even with Dragon Age 2, at least control-wise. However, Dragon Age 2 is still my least favorite of all the games. So, finish upgrading Coercion. I really want to get that. That's an important skill. A heal isn't too bad, though. I'm considering it. No, I'm actually gonna go with that. Weakness. Yeah.
Yes. Very well. Of course.
Take that!
No, I didn't even see that there.
As you say. It will be done.
Those injury kits, particularly if you're playing on a higher difficulty and characters are dropping or dying more often, you're going to get something called an injury. It's like a debuff. It'll appear in the same area as the buffs that are cast by your own party. And the difference between an injury and a regular debuff is the injuries are consistent and they remain
We
there
need to get to the beacon.
Yes.
even when you're not in combat.
King needs low gain to charge.
And what they typically do is they reduce your
Very well.
stats, so they can like reduce your crit chance, reduce your intellect, reduce strength, reduce stamina, etc. And if you get enough of those, they can be quite debilitating.
You're gonna strike quickly.
Alright. So we just have one level left. And save just in case things don't go over all that great. What's going on here? That's not good. Alright, so that guy has a orange-red name. That means he is boss class, so good times. Oh dear. People are dropping like flies. I know he's coming after me. Lovely.
Is that the best you got?
Alistair! Use your taunt or... Oh wait, he doesn't have taunt yet. He didn't level up enough.
I will not falter.
My cage didn't work on him. Oh no, I didn't get the final blow. So, you might have noticed that like when your character actually kills something, you get extra experience that pops up. And you might not think it works that way, but it actually does. So like if you get
missed the signal.
if you get the main kill on this boss, like with your hero character, you will actually get extra experience for it. So it's a little bit of incentive to try and manipulate how a fight finishes in that regard. But it doesn't make a huge difference. It doesn't make a...
It will be done.
Like in the long run, it really doesn't matter, so don't be overly concerned about it. And we're gonna light the beacon.
Very well.
Sound the retreat.
But what about the king? Should we not...
Do as I command.
So he's taking that entire army and abandoning us. Look at all the people he has, like all those orange lights in the background.
Let's move.
All of those orange lights in the background, that's all part of Logain's army. In this case, they used the same graphic to animate the Darkspawn when they were coming in, but yeah, there is a bit of a difference, I guess, but it's just to show large numbers without actually showing the figures. Oh no. I don't think he's okay. That was the king. Go Duncan. It's just super badass. He's covered in like so much blood that it almost looks as though it's just the natural color of the armor. Crazy. Yeah, we lit the beacon, it just didn't do anything because Logain decided to flee. Everyone's dead. Apparently we're dead too. I see the light. Don't go to the light. Turn away. Morrigan.
Ah, your eyes finally open. Mother shall be pleased.
Where am I?
Back in the wilds, of course. I am Morrigan, lest you have forgotten, and I have just bandaged your wounds. You are welcome, by the way. How does your memory fare? Do you remember Mother's rescue?
Nope. Yeah, wait, what happened to the army, to the king?
The man who was to respond to your signal quit the field. The Darkspawn won your battle. Those he abandoned were massacred. Your friend, he is not taking it well.
So that implies Alistair might be still alive. If it's not Alistair, it's someone else. But considering the other two didn't have names, it's a safe bet that it's probably Alistair. Kind of already answered that, just by virtue of the previous question. Alright, I need to get out of here.
As you like. Mother is outside with your friend. She wished to see you when you awoke.
Fair enough. Why does your mum want to see me?
I do not know. She rarely tells me her plans.
Interesting. Were my injuries severe?
Yes, but I expect you shall be fine. The Darkspawn did nothing Mother could not heal.
Thank you for helping me, Morrigan.
You were welcome. Though Mother did most of the work, I am no healer.
That flustered her. So we do have an opportunity to ask some questions, but I'm not going to for now, because the questions that you can ask once we go outside anyway. I will go then.
I will stay and make something to eat.
Alright. The chest just has some loot for us. A little bit. That one can't open. Even if you're a rogue, you won't be able to open that chest. At least not at this point in the game.
See, here is your fellow Grey Warden. You worry too much, young man.
You're alive. I thought you were dead for sure.
Well, I'm not. And it is thanks to Morgan's mother, so let's go with that.
Oh, this doesn't seem real. If it weren't for Morrigan's mother, we'd be dead on top of that tower.
Do not talk about me as if I am not present, lad.
I didn't mean... But what do we call you? You've never told us your name?
Names are pretty, but useless. The chastened folk call me Flemeth. I suppose it will do.
The Flemeth? From the legends? Daveth was right. You're the Witch of the Wilds, aren't you?
And what does that mean? I know a bit of magic, and it has served you both well, has it not?
So, there was actually a guard in Ostagar near the entrance to the Quarry Wilds. We talked to him before we were actually going into the wilds, and he told us one of the legends about Flemeth. If you're Flemeth, he must be very old and very powerful.
Must I? Age and power are relative. It depends on who is asking. Compared to you, yes, on both counts.
Then why didn't you save Duncan? He was our leader.
I am sorry for your Duncan, but your grief must come later. In the dark shadows before you take vengeance, as my mother once said. Duty must come now. It has always been the Grey Warden's duty to unite the lands against the Blight. Or did that change when I wasn't looking?
I'm sorry for you, Duncan. That's good. Okay. So this is a lot to take in for Elia. First time leaving the circle of Magi, and we get into a battle, lose the battle, and now everybody that we thought we knew is dead. Except for Alistair, I suppose. And we're not exactly off to a good start with Alistair. So, not to mention that, we don't really know what to do as a Grey Warden, or what it's about. All we know is that supposedly we're supposed to fight against the Blight, but all the other Grey Wardens are dead, supposedly, because they were down there with Duncan and the King. So, if no one else survived that, it's highly likely all the Grey Wardens are included there, so yay. I suppose it changed when most of them were slaughtered.
If you think small numbers make you helpless, you are already defeated.
But we were fighting the Darkspawn. The King had nearly defeated them. Why would Loghain do this?
Now that is a good question. Men's hearts hold shadows darker than any tainted creature. Perhaps he believes the Blight is an army he can outmaneuver. Perhaps he does not see that the evil behind it is the true threat.
The Archdemon.
Then we need to find the Archdemon.
By ourselves? No Grey Warden has ever defeated a Blight without the army of a half-dozen nations at his back. Not to mention, I don't know how.
How to kill the Archdemon, or how to raise an army? It seems to me those are two different questions, Have the Wardens no allies these days?
I don't know. Duncan said that the Grey Wardens of Orlais had been called, and Al-Eamon would never stand for this, surely.
So, what Alistair just said there was actually rather interesting, because it places a huge context on the perspective by which we can look back on the Battle of Ostagar. The King of Ferelden had Ferelden's army and Ferelden's Grey Wardens specifically. So that's one nation. One nation. Alistair just finished saying that no Grey Warden has ever defeated the Blight with any less than 6 nations armies at their back. Which implies that regardless of whether Loghain turned on us or not, the Blight would not have been possible to win in that one battle. Or it shouldn't have been possible. Now, we shouldn't conflate the two, because, just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it's not possible. It could be for a variety of reasons, like the fact that it takes time to gather an army, and people might not have noticed that there was a blight going on until the archdemon was already rampaging the lands. So the fact that the Grey Wardens happened to call the king early this time, even before seeing an archdemon, that might be playing a huge role into why everyone seemed to think it was a good idea to fight the Darkspawn as we did at Ostagar. So we would have read about the Arl of Redcliffe just because of our training at the Circle. So it still makes sense to ask that question, though. I don't know if we want to go to him or not. Do you think the Arl would believe us over the Terran? So the Terran is Loghain. That was the guy that fled the battle. He basically abandoned the king, abandoned the Grey Wardens, and left us all to die.
I suppose. Al-Eamon wasn't at Ostagar. He still has all his men. And he was Kaelin's uncle. I know him. He's a good man, respected in the Landsmeet. Of course, we could go to Redcliffe and appeal to him for help.
Better question might be, why wasn't he at Ostagar? Supposedly, the king had summoned everyone to come and help with the battle at Ostagar. So that should include the Arl of Redcliffe. Now we will find out why he wasn't there and why his men weren't there, but don't want to talk about it yet. And say he doesn't help us, what then?
You have more at your disposal than merely old friends.
Of course! The treaties! Grey Wardens can demand aid from dwarves, elves, mages, and other places. They're obligated to help us during a blight.
I may be old, but dwarves, elves, mages, this Al-Eamon, and who knows what else. This sounds like an army to me.
So can we do this? Go to Redcliffe and these other places and build an army?
Yeah, so I guess that's what we're supposed to do. And this is kind of setting the context for the rest of the game going forward. Now that the king is dead, it's up to us to basically rally the nation in an effort to fight against the archdemon, and hopefully avoid any further confrontations with Loghain along the way. But I do doubt that it'll be as easy as that.
And when is it ever?
It's always been the Grey Warden's duty to stand against a blight. And right now, we're the Grey Wardens.
So you are set then, ready to be Grey Wardens?
Yes. Or at least as ready as we'll ever be.
Now, before you go, there is yet one more thing I can offer you.
The stew is bubbling, Mother dear. Shall we have 2 guests for the eve, or none?
The Grey Wardens are leaving shortly, girl. And you will be joining them.
Such a shame. What?
You heard me, girl. The last time I looked, you had ears.
Thank you, but if Morgan doesn't wish to join us...
Her magic will be useful. Even better, she knows the wilds and how to get past the Horde.
Have I no say in this?
You have been itching to get out of the wilds for years. Here is your chance. As for you, Wardens, consider this repayment for your lives.
Was this your idea all along?
Pardon me, but I had the impression that you two needed assistance, whatever the form.
Not to look a gift horse in the mouth, but won't this add to our problems?
Come on,
Out of the
Alistair.
wilds, she's an apostate.
If you do not wish help from us illegal mages, young man, perhaps I should have left you on that tower.
Point taken.
Mother, this is not how I wanted this. I'm not even ready.
You must be ready. Alone, these two must unite for Eldon against the Darkspawn. They need you, Morrigan. Without you, they will surely fail, and all will perish under the Blight. Even I.
I understand.
And you, Wardens, do you understand? I give you that which I value above all in this world. I do this because you must succeed.
Right. She won't come to harm with us.
Allow me to get my things, if you please. I am at your disposal, Grey Wardens. I suggest a village north of the wilds as our first destination. 'Tis not far, and you will find much you need there. Or, if you prefer, I shall simply be your silent guide. The choice is yours.
I prefer you speak your mind.
You will regret saying that.
Dear sweet mother, you are so kind to cast me out like this. How fondly I shall remember this moment.
Well, I always said, if you want something done, do it yourself. Or hear about it for a decade or two afterwards.
Do you really want to take her along because her mother says so?
No, that's not why we're taking her, Alistair. Get over yourself.
If you worry that I will summon demons and transform into an abomination, I assure you I will at least wait until you are not looking.
I feel better already.
Sure, let's ask a few questions before we go.
I may have answers. Ask.
Oh dear, that's a lot. What skills do you have?
I know a few spells, though I am nowhere near as powerful as Mother. I have also studied history and your Grey Warden treaties.
Can you cook?
I can cook, yes.
Never mind him, you don't have to cook.
You missed your chance. Now it's charred rabbit from here on out.
I actually think the charred rabbit might be good. Personally. That is a good question. How are we going to get past the Darkspawn?
The real question is how we are going to get your friend past the Darkspawn, is it not?
That's true. We can sense the Darkspawn. Conversely, they can sense us.
No, I don't sense any Darkspawn.
You won't right away. No. It takes time. We should be able to sneak past smaller groups, but larger ones, or particularly intelligent Darkspawn, will always detect us.
Mother has given me something else for them to smell instead as we pass by. 'Tis important we head out of the wilds, however, not farther in.
See, I'd like to know more about this, thing that Flemeth gave Morrigan. That the Darkspawn can supposedly smell. It raises a lot of questions. Unfortunately, we're not allowed to ask about that, so... The Darkspawn are camped further in the forest?
They come from underground, like an eruption. They broke through deep within the forest, and that is where they will be most concentrated.
Are you really Flemeth's daughter?
'Twas she who raised me, and thus I consider her my mother, born from her womb or not. 'Tis what you meant, yes?
I'm just wondering her age.
She would no more tell me than you, I assure you.
Alright, tell me about the village to the north.
'Tis a small place of little consequence called Lothering. No more than a stop along your imperial highway where travellers purchase goods from local farms and smiths. I would go more often were it not for the town's chantry. It makes the village particularly intolerant and unpleasant for a stranger such as me.
A chantry? And they never in all this time thought that maybe you were a witch?
Of course they have. They even called out their Templars once. They found nothing.
Is there any reason to go to Lothering then? Elia's not exactly thrilled to be visiting another chantry.
I mention it for its tavern, where travellers gather with news from other places. 'Tis small enough that our appearance might go unnoticed. Beyond that, 'tis close, and I know the way.
Fair enough. Have you ever been outside the wilds?
From time to time, I have been to the village I mentioned, watched its people, and pondered what curious beings they are. On occasion, I purchased goods from the village merchants. There I spoke with men a little. There they stared and knew me as an outsider. Mother wishes for me to expand the horizon of my experience beyond the wilds. Even she was not born here.
And is that what you want?
What I want is to see mountains. I wish to witness the ocean and step into its waters. I want to experience a city rather than see it in my mind. So, yes, this is what I want. Actually, leaving is harder than I thought, however. Perhaps Mother is right. It must simply be done quickly.
So she's relatively attached to her life here in the wilds, and although she wants to experience the rest of the world, leaving her home is difficult, which could be understandable. I have no more
Farewell,
questions.
Mother. Do not forget the stew on the fire. I would hate to return to a burned-down hut.
Bah! 'Tis far more likely you will return to see this entire area, along with my hut, swallowed up by the blight.
All I meant was...
Yes, I know. Do try to have fun, dear.
Alright, we got approval all around there. I'm gonna level up Alistair. I'll do that after ending this episode. But before we end up leaving this area, Flemeth's hut, we do have the option to talk with Flemeth again. So we're gonna do that next time. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, remember to like and subscribe. See you next time. Bye.